Hello and welcome to our Facebook Live this evening. My name's Jenny McCormack and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire in the UK. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I'm slightly earlier than normal as I'm going out this evening with some good friends of mine for an evening meal. So I thought I'd nip on. I have a small window of opportunity to do some crafting in between coming in and going back out again. So I thought I would introduce to you our new stamp set of the week. So if you're wondering what that is, basically the stamp set of the week is a stamp set that I choose to use all during the week. So this one will extend into next week, as obviously it's only Thursday. And it's also a set that we use at our coffee and cards session, which is held in Brackley on a Friday and Toaster on a Monday. So it is a stamp set which is in the annual catalogue. As you can see, it is called Apple Harvest and it features 3 images of apples. And this is one of the reasons I chose it for coffee and card, because it means people can be stamping multiple apples at the same time. We're not all waiting for one particular stamp. So there's small apples here on the leaves, effectively on the branch. We've got one here with 2 little apples and some apple blossom. There's a single little apple blossom flower and then a single apple there. There are 3 sentiments and they read: the greatest gift is a good friend, hope you're feeling better, and thanks for your kindness. And you've also got this little almost like a little trellis or a little lattice, which is perfect for backgrounds. So we're just going to do a straightforward stamping and colouring in today. And the good thing about this set is that there's lots of different ways that you can colour. Trying to move that out of the reflection. So you can colour on with watercolour pencils. You could colour with inks and paints and water, or with a water brush, and you could use blends pens as well. And it's blends that I'm going to use today just for a little bit of speed and to get a feel of the stamp set. So all I have done so far is just mounted the stamp onto the block. I have popped the label on so I can see where I'm stamping, and I'm going to use one of our ready-made note cards and envelopes. So this is the note card. Just going to fold that in preparation like so. And this finished size is 3.5 by 5 inches, so it's perfect for this. And then I've got a little layer, funnily enough, of Granny Apple Green. That's the name of the colour. And then I'm going to be stamping onto this layer here. Now when it comes to coffee and card, I might do a die cut layer for that for a little bit of interest. We will see. Just depends really on the size. So let me grab a piece of grid paper, just so I've got a little bit that I can practice on. So I'm going to pop this card up here on the left and ink this up for the first time. So apples can be all sorts of colours. Obviously you get nice big rosy red apples, you get pink lady, you get granny apple, you get coxes. So all sorts of different colours that you can colour these in. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is just put this slightly high and then put a sentiment underneath. That's my plan. There we go. And I've got thanks for your kindness, which I'm going to put underneath because of the way I've spaced it. But what I might do another time would be to put it up on here because it sort of fits in nicely up there. I am just going to make sure that I start with this nice and straight on my block. I think that would be really helpful. So I'm just sort of looking through the block to my grid paper and looking at the stamp. Goodness me, a lot of very noisy traffic out there tonight. Okay, that's stamping nice and straight. So again, I'm just using my grid paper to line up, and then lining the bottom of my block with the grid paper. And you can buy this grid paper, it's not just for demonstrators use. So there's various ones that you can buy with different patterns on. This one is double-sided, and it has inches measurement on one side, so it's twice the size of this, so it's effectively A3, give or take, just a bit narrower. And then on the other side we have a grid of centimetres, and it counts out in different ways, so very useful for cutting and measuring as well. Okay, so I've just got my design stamped onto there, and I'm just going to do some quick colouring in. Let's move that microphone over a little bit. So I think I'm going to use just a crumb cake for the stalk. So I've got dark crumb cake and a light crumb cake. Now I know my light crumb cake is nearly finished. This one is anyway. I need to grab another one. So I'm just going to brush that along there and use the marks that the artist and the designers have left for us, which makes it a lot easier for shading. There we go. So hi and welcome to anybody else who's joined us since the start. Thank you so much. I'm using our new stamp set of the week, Apple Harvest. And one of the reasons I've chosen to use it this week is that during the month of September you can actually buy the dies that coordinate with this set. There are 6 new sets of dies that coordinate with some of our existing stamps that don't have dies to match in the catalogue. I think I'm going to do a slightly different green for the leaves, and I might just do green for the, ought to do red, shouldn't I, for the apples. So I'm just going to use a little old olive, and again just colouring in where they've given you the shading. And I appreciate from where you're looking you can't see the shading, it's very fine, but it's basically wherever there would be a little shadow. So, and then just going to use the light to blend that out. And you could use any green for these leaves. And as I say, there's lots of different ways of colouring this. You could use our watercolour pencils, you could use inks, you could use Stampin' Up markers. Basically lots of different variations. So just using a bit of a circular motion where these 2 layers are joining, and that will just soften that edge. Okay, let me bring that up to the top of the screen so you can see that, hopefully, like so. Just going to do the blossom next, and it's a very light pink, as I remember, almost pink white. So what I'm going to do is use light flirty flamingo in the centre and the edge, and then I'm going to use a plain blends pen to mix those, to just sort of lighten and mix it together. So it's called a colour lifter. It does exactly as it says, lifts the colour. And just running it between those two pinks to blend a little bit of the pink out. Like that. So just a hint of that pink. If I bring that up, hopefully you can see that. And then we've obviously got the little seeds and the rest of the apple. So I think I'm going to go with some reds. I think I'm going to use, I want to use real red. And then the inside of the apples, typically when it's a red or a pink, is quite sort of yellow. Often when they're green, they can be obviously quite green. So let's give it a go. And I think this might be a case of trying different reds. So this is dark real red. And again, I'm following those shading lines that the design team have come up with. Same here, here. It's on the inside, isn't it? And then I'm going to use the light one. So apologies if you've tuned in at 7 o'clock to discover I'm not here, because I've been and gone. As I say, it's only because I'm due out this evening, and I did want to use our new stamp set. Always nice opening a new stamp set and using it for the first time. Even as a demonstrator, it never gets old. Go like that, and then the same with this outside, and it's quite a fine element in there. So I will be using other colouring methods, so if you want to watch some watercolouring, then keep an eye out for this set, or if you're local, do come to a coffee and card with us. Okay, just let that little area there to make it look like there's a little bit of light, and just going to use a little bit of brown on those seeds, literally just a touch. And then I want even lighter than that. Let's see what we've got. I'm thinking light so saffron. Yeah, perfect. and a little bit of dark saffron where the marks are. So if you're watching, do say hi. I can't see any comments, which either means nobody's commented, which is fine, or I'm not seeing any comments at all. So in which case, if you've commented and I haven't acknowledged it, I do apologise. Such are the wonders of Facebook. So there's a little bit of red that needs to go in that bit at the bottom. So this is the dark, and then I'm going to put some darker areas here, here and here. And just a little bit of that red in there. And then light so saffron. To colour this in. And just leaving a little bit on each side. And then I want to just lighten that again with my colour lifter. Like so. Yeah. Okay. So very simple but quite a stunning little image with just some simple colouring. I've used my blends pens, but as I said, you could use any type of colouring. So that's just going to go onto there, like so. Oh, hi Wendy. They are, aren't they? Yes. So this is the first time I've coloured them. I know they've been very popular, and I'm hoping they'll be as popular at Coffee and Card. Just because apples are all sorts of different colours, aren't they? So this is, I've used So Saffron here, which is quite a yellow, but I think you could use more colour lifter if you wanted to lift it up to lighten it. Okay. I think I'm just going to leave it like that. I was tempted to pop this little grid in. Maybe I'll put that in on either side. And then just mount it and we're done. So it's almost like a little lattice. Just pop it on. And I do like the fact that you've got the single blossom as well, which is perfect for putting inside of your cards. Let's see what this looks like. Yes, exactly. You could definitely make other fruit with it, as you say, just by changing the colour of the fruit. So let's just put that there. That one there. There we go. I'm not sure whether it's added anything or not, but just gives a little bit more interest behind the scenes. So let's mount this up. So I've got Granny Apple Green, but I could pick out the real red. But I'm just going to stick with that as it is. And use my seal for those. Oh, thanks, Wendy. It's very sweet of you. I'm sure, like me, you still get excited when you have new stamp sets to utilise. And I do love using them brand new in front of people as well, because it just goes to show that, you know, you can just come up with a simple design. You don't have to go complicated right from the dot. If you love, you know, colouring in or love a particular aspect, then you can concentrate on that. I think I'm just going to pop that cute little blossom in the corner because it is rather sweet. So let's pop one on the envelope. Put 3 on there, why not? Like so. And then 1 here on the left, like that. And I'm going to put 1 on the inside as well. There we go. So the sentiment says, "Thanks for your kindness." That's that there. Hope you can see that okay. And you could even make this a really rosy apple. If you used our fine tip glue, you could apply that and then it will dry hard and glossy, and then it'll look like you've got a really rosy apple. So I might have to give that a go. But it's come out well. Might just colour this one in as I did before. Flirty Flamingo, and then that's perfect timing for me. So we're just doing in the middle and some of the edges. Where the designers have already done the shading for you. And then the colour lifter, just to blend it back in. It's almost like a bleach pen, for want of a better description. It isn't actually bleach, I promise you, but it just lightens the alcohol ink underneath. There we go. Okay, so there is our finished card. Hope you like it. There's the envelope. Move this one out of the way. So a very quick demonstration, 20 minutes from start to finish, and there's our finished card. So I hope you like it. This is our feature stamp set of the week. So watch out for me to do other things with this. So of course we are going to change this into oranges. I definitely think, or peaches. And we'll do something else with this, and we'll also use the dies. So welcome to our stamp set of the week. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're watching on replay, whether that is on Facebook or YouTube, then thank you so much for supporting me. If you have any queries or questions, don't hesitate to pop them in the comments section, and if it requires a response, I will make sure that I respond to you in due course. Thanks, Carol. Thanks for your lovely comment as well about my photograph this morning. That funny cat. Thank you, everyone. Do take care. Have a great evening if you're watching this evening, and then have a great morning, afternoon if you're watching another time of day. Thank you. I'll be back tomorrow. I won't be back tomorrow, Friday, because I'm not normally live Friday, but I might see how the afternoon goes. Thanks so much, everyone. Do take care. Bye for now.